Hello, Fightful Faithful. Welcome to a Tuesday show where we talk about NXT, which is the thing we normally do on Tuesdays. It's
It's
me.
true.
I'm Alex, and this is Kate.
It is, and everything sucks. And
Mm.
I'm here with Alex for NXT post show for February 25th. So
Mm-hmm.
get in those super chats, get in those humper chats. We don't have Luis, so if we are weird about it, or the show feels weird tonight
Mm-hmm.
in an extra weird way, I guess I would say.
Mm.
Because we're always weird, but if it feels like the rhythm of things are off, it's because they are a little bit. We're finding our footing, but we are still taking your chats on either platform nonetheless. So get your super chats and humper chats in. Lots to talk about headed into Roadblock, which seems like they're building toward an appropriate intermittent show. Like if you're gonna do these kinds of matches, it feels like Roadblock is probably the place to do them. But we're gonna get into all of that and more. Space puns were decided upon yesterday.
Yeah.
I forget
Yeah.
what from. Oh, because we were throwing bricks at the moon.
Like, 'cause I threw a brick at the moon. That's how angry I was about a thing. I threw a brick at the moon, and so we're
You
talking
were like,
about
I'm throwing a brick.
celestial bodies, things in outer space. You could even do things about satellites and things like that.
Sure.
I'm not sure. Space station. I don't know. Figure it out.
Yeah, I feel like I don't think we've done space puns before.
I don't think we've done
Sometimes we have
space.
repeats, and I don't
We
think
have
we've done
not done
space yet.
space puns before, so get your space puns in, people.
Hell yeah.
Yes, it is. It is a big Cincinnati show. They put some stuff on the show tonight, and they used this show to build to some other stuff that is happening in 2 weeks at Roadblock, not End of the Line. Because this is a long time ago now. I think that was like 2015. But there was 1 year where it was Roadblock End of the Line, and then they went back to just being Roadblock after that. So I always call it Roadblock End of the Line because it didn't make a sense for. Isn't a Roadblock? Isn't that kind of redundant? Roadblock End of the Line. It's unnecessary to add End of the Line to Roadblock. I think we kind of figured it out, right? So
I think they figured it out, and we're like, never again are we calling it Roadblock End of the Line.
I guess that's true. That's what they figured out. They figured that part out. But yeah, they're doing that, and then what? 5 weeks after that is Stand and Deliver. So, considering how slapdash and haphazard their paths are to building to stuff, 5 weeks is a long time. You know what I mean? Like they could be building to some stuff that right now I think is really silly to be doing at Roadblock, not End of the Line, in Madison Square Garden.
Roadblock, like middle of the line.
Yeah, Roadblock ish, not End of the Line. But they're doing that in 2 weeks, and then 5 weeks after that, they could whatever stupid stuff they book at Roadblock ish, not End of the Line. You can rest assured that most of that won't really matter by the time they get to Stand and Deliver. So that's just kind of what they're doing here. They're throwing some stuff at the wall and seeing if they can move tickets in Madison Square Garden. You know what I mean? So
it does seem like this is pretty reliant on the talent exchange, which I think is fine. Like for
yeah.
If you're gonna do Moose versus Obafemi, you're not gonna do that at Stand and Deliver, and you're not gonna do that on TNA probably. So you might as well do it here. Like I don't mind those kinds of things, but there are things of consequence within the NXT world itself that we're gonna get to. But we had I will say, like, the talent exchange seems pretty even so far. Like NXT has sent some people over to TNA and like lost to their champions, right? Like when TNA comes over, it's not always them getting the the shit end of the stick, so to speak. Like it's, I was 30 seconds outside the monetization window there, so I can say the S word, but
it's okay. You can say poop end of the stick. You can say poop end of the stick. Yeah.
But like it's not them constantly losing. They've done a pretty good job of balancing that, which is not always easy to do. So I give them some credit there, but
yeah, I'll agree with that. We saw Ricky Saints and Javon Evans, the tag team for tonight only, walking in to wherever they help. This is a fantastic place to do a small wrestling show, by the way. Really cool venue, like the way they set it up. But then walking into the building, and then we see Wesley and Ethan Page gabbing, walking down a flight of steps as Team Bouncy Beef walks behind them, presumably running security from the throngs of fans waiting to get them to sign autographs. The first thing that we saw was that we opened the show. There was no other little segment. It was just we opened the show with Stephanie Vaquer versus Karmen Petrovic.
Correct.
I have. I don't think it's necessarily an important question, but it's one that I need answered. Why was Ashanti the Adonis dressed like a 7-year-old going as bounty hunter Brian Keith for Halloween, using only the stuff they already had lying around the house? Why was that terrible low-rent bounty hunter Brian Keith costume the thing that Ashanti the Adonis chose to wear to ringside? They weren't in Texas. Does Cincinnati have a history of cowboyism that I was not aware of, or?
You ask me a lot of questions in regards to fashion, and I never have the answers from them. This is from Kohl's, okay? From the clearance rack, if we're being so for real, all right? Like, I don't have answers to your high fashion questions, Alex.
Fine.
To your point, I don't know if this seemed so much like high fashion. This kind of just seems like this was a deliberate choice.
It was very deliberate. Like you do not dress like that on accident. That is the thing you say, this is what I am going to look like tonight. And that was what he chose. And it was just very distracting. It was mostly distracting because all of the commentators were not just talking about that, because that's all I could look at. And I was like, am I the only person who can see Ashanti the Adonis? Is he a ghost that only I can see? Because that would have made that would explain to me why nobody was bringing up what he looked like. He's never looked anything like that before.
If I were Karmen Petrovic and that was my boyfriend, that would be giving like Britney and Justin Timberlake vibes when they were there in the all matching denim. It's like that.
Yeah,
it's a little like that.
Speaking of Karmen Petrovic, she really impressed me tonight. I really wish they had chosen to book her as impressive last week, but they did tonight. She looked really good against Stephanie, but Stephanie is on another level. So
truly,
but Karmen hanging with her looks really good. Again, them focusing more on the kicks and stuff for Karmen was the way to go. I thought this was well done, well agented. I always hate bringing this particular thing up because I don't like that I'm using this particular person to say, hey, do this. But if you are selling a finishing maneuver that targets your spine, don't sell it like you're knocked out. Sell it like your spine might be broken.
Sure.
The best ever sell in WWE, there were a lot of good ones on the indies and probably in TNA before Cedric Alexander got to WWE. But the best ever sell I ever saw of his lumbar check, which is one of the coolest looking backbreakers ever, where he picks you up, throws you into there, and then drops you down onto his knees as he's lying on the ground, was Drew Gulak. So I hate that I'm bringing up that guy who's been like, hey, good job, this dude. Because,
No, he sucks, but I don't think anyone would argue that he's a really good wrestler.
Right. He's a great wrestler. And the time I saw him lose to Cedric Alexander's lumbar check. He took it and immediately, like, he arched his back up off the ground and reached behind his lower back and was just grimacing. And when he got pinned, like, he was trying so hard to kick his legs, but you could tell, like, there was nothing. His back was not allowing his lower body to kick out of it. And it wasn't like, hey, I've been knocked out because I hit my back so hard. It was, I don't know if my spine might need some serious surgery. Like, it's equal parts when something like that hits you. It's equal parts pain and fear. My body isn't responding right. Holy shit! I hope I'm not horribly injured. Like, and you could tell that was what he was using in addition to all the other stuff. And this is not just Karmen. So many people, everyone who's lost to this maneuver from Stephanie Vaquer has done it while pretending to be unconscious. And that's not what this move does. This move doesn't knock you unconscious. It compromises your spine, which is necessary, and all the muscles attached to it for you to be able to kick out of a pinfall. And so if you do that, it all of a sudden makes that kind of move more special than anything that targets your head. And so I've always said that is the best way to respond to a backbreaker type move. And that's just across the board, something I'd like to see from anybody. Like Roderick Strong hitting you with the end of Heartache, where he drops you on his knees as well.
Yeah.
Everybody who takes that move and loses to it also is like, I'm dead now. No, but you're not, though. Like, you might be paralyzed, but you're still very lucid. So that's the thing I would like to see more of across the board in wrestling.
So I really enjoyed this match too. I think Karmen hung in there really nicely as like a first defense, first F. And even the ways that it was sloppy were the ways that I like when pro wrestling is sloppy, because it feels like a fight. Like, it's not always supposed to be so pretty. So I appreciated that about it. I've always felt like Karmen had something cool, and I think she's really starting to unlock it. And I think they're making matches, like, continuing to make matches like this will help her do that further. Like, I feel like the over-engineered endings and the constant multi-woman stuff, like, it doesn't allow the breathing room for you to dig into something the way this did. I loved the start of the show essentially being this, because Steph's entrance was super cool. Like, it felt like the production has gotten to a place too where they're like, okay, we're starting to, like, everything's making it feel like a big deal when Steph is wrestling. So I appreciate that about this too. Love that there was a 619 in there too. I thought that was cool. We got an eat the feet in this as well. But I agree with you on that. And this is a great point by Matthew Hook saying star ratings, but to rate Alex's anger on bricks thrown at the moon, for example, Alex, would you have thrown 5 bricks at the moon because the booking sucked? I don't know how to work this, but I think it's important we establish it now. Like, are more bricks at the moon worse? I feel like more bricks at the moon are worse.
Yeah, worse. Yeah.
So, the Tokyo Dome is the worst place you could be, because you don't want 7 bricks. Like, you want
no. 0 bricks is the highest possible rating. Highest possible rating. And that's the thing, is that like with Dave Meltzer, there is theoretically not a ceiling to his number of stars he could give. Like, he did, you know what I mean? He could breach the 8-star mark at any point. Like, he could just go as far as he wants. 22 stars in the Tokyo Dome, right? With me, there is no ceiling to how bad a match could possibly be. So we're talking about 102 bricks thrown at the moon. You know what I mean? Like, but that's not this match. This match wasn't that at all. This match, no, I would not. I don't think I would have thrown any bricks at the moon for this match. I mean, really, I might have thrown a brick, but not far. You know what I mean? Just a little bit.
Like, that's not even really because of the match. That's just just general,
just generally to throw bricks is fun. I liked this one from Reg. He says Vaquer obviously elite, and Karmen is finding herself. She's getting better and better. That's great. That is really good.
What this title feels like it should be for, which makes what happens after
right there. No, hold on. We'll We'll talk more about it.
Worthy.
Yeah, yeah.
But as we
Ryan,
do have some other chats, my dad did chime in with his.
Well, Ryan Cicchini is saying that these shows on the road have been mostly solid, which is very true, and I honestly like to see that with them.
Yeah, there's definitely an effort when they're outside of the building, but this is what happens with our reverse flow, Alex. I've got Humper chat.
Go ahead.
I didn't kick off the show with the greetings like we normally do.
Okay,
We're all over the place.
Let's do it. Come on.
My dad saying, greetings to our SGS roll call, the Council, the Sisters, the Beard, LT Photo, Louise! And then he later says, oops, no Louise. And of course, Team Kalex and the honorary Elizabeth family member, J.W. Pringle. Well, thank you to my dad. That is how we get things started off. And that actually, pulling this up from Taylor Cannon saying, can I just say how wonderful it is that I've been a member for 41 months and I turned 41 18 days ago. Happy belated. Wow. I'm grateful for this community. Love you guys. Well, darn it. Taylor is seriously like the best. Like he's always on our shows, always just being kind and supportive. I adore him.
Yes, agreed. Hold on. I wanted to get one in here from Love for Boost talking about, I believe in Obafemi. Also, cool that the bounty hunter Ashanti Adonis appeared. It was nice of him to grace our presence. Hey, so, yeah. The thing that I hated the most, maybe of the entire evening, is a promise of a fantastic match that shouldn't happen. Because Stephanie is in the ring, and then Julia's music hits, and Julia comes to the ring, and Julia says, hey, you call yourself the best champion, but I am the best champion. And Stephanie says, yes, what I say, La Primera, what I mean is I am the very best of the best. I'm the best champion. And Julia says, well, I disagree. I think that I am the best champion. And then they say, well, how about this? I know we are friends, but we will fight each other to see who is the best champion, title for title. And no, you don't need to do this. This is not a thing you need to do. This is a thing you do after both of them have been the champions for a year. I don't think that either of them should be or will be on the NXT roster in a year. But if both champions are the champions for a very long time and have beaten all other challengers, each, maybe even a single challenger at different times has been beaten by each woman. The top women keep coming at both of them at night. Nobody can beat either of them. Well, the only way to settle this then is for us to face each other to see which one is the better. And to make it fair, both titles are on the line. That's what you do after you've done all the... Stephanie became the North American Women's Champion 6.5 minutes ago. Why are we resorting to an endgame thing when we don't need to do this yet? This is why I say, why are we throwing things like the Roadblock-ish middle of the line is not necessarily the place you need to do this right now. The match is going to be great, but here's the deal. I don't think there's a chance that you have either of these women pin the other one. You just don't do it. You wouldn't do it. Not even HBK would do it. So instead of that, you're putting this match on as a lie. You're doing it as a lie. When Ava comes out and says, yes, I have booked this match, only one woman will be leaving with both titles. You know for a fact when you script this for her to say it, that ain't happening. Something is going down to stop that from happening because you would never book it, because if you did, then you wouldn't be in charge of anything because you would be in a rubber room somewhere. Like that. So don't book a match that is at a later date in a different context, an absolute dream match where something needs to be settled because of all the stuff that happened before it. Nothing has happened before it now. So there's no reason to do this now. So you just don't do it. And because you're not going to do it, don't tease us by booking something that you're not going to follow through with. Because if you're just going to let them kill each other for 17 minutes before Jordan Grace interferes and turn this into a triple threat where both titles are on the line at Stand and Deliver. Don't do that either, because both of those titles should be defended separately on the show. This 1,200 bricks thrown at the moon is how angry I am about getting what will be a tremendous match that should not happen. Thank you.
I mean, we're launching them from Cork and Hall at this point. We are just straight up. Jay Beard saying, didn't they make the women's North American title last year? Why are they already trying to merge it? So here's the good and bad of it to me. Mostly bad. I'm pretty much with you on this of like, you're basically telling us that this incredible match is going to be inconsequential because it's likely going to end in a non-finish. Unless they really are hot-shotting somebody. Which I don't think that's the time of year to do it. Like, I feel like Jordan Grace is down here because there's not room for her on the main roster. You're probably not hot-shotting someone to the main roster.
I mean...
You can't even let Roxanne go up, which we're going to get to in a minute.
Stephanie absolutely belongs on the main roster, but why have her take the title from Fallon just to drop it to Julia like 3 weeks later? Like,
and this isn't the time of year for her to go up if you're telling me you can't even get Jordan Grace on the main roster until after Mania because the plans are set.
Yeah.
So my thinking is that's not the case right now.
Right.
My other thinking is maybe it's not too long after and they want to be able to do this match. And they're like, I don't know how long either of these gals are going to be around here.
All right,
and
fine. I guess.
It's Roadblock, so you're snapping something together. Now, I still don't like it because I think what ends up happening is Cora Jade interferes, and I really don't want that. No offense to Cora Jade. I don't want this match to have the ending of Cora Jade interferes.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we've already seen this mix so much, and there's so many other ways to get to a one-on-one program with Cora that I don't want them dashing the end of this match to do it. If it wasn't a title for title, I would actually like it way more. I would be like, why not? Like, you're snapping this together in a couple of weeks. My best, your best is an all-star game. I'm way more all right with that.
It's an exhibition, and but I still at that point you wouldn't have either one of them pin the other one. But at least we wouldn't be told one woman is going to take home both titles when you know for a fact you're not booking that.
And the other thing is, even if they did do that, it would be on someone who's amazing. So, like, 2 belts, whoever, is something that would be compelling. But, like, you don't have the tag titles. You created this North American title because you kind of need it. And to have Zarya waffling around with Sol Ruka, no offense to Sol Ruka, she's great. But, like, you brought in these 3 heavy hitters to have one of them be a double champ is also not something I want to see. So, I'm looking at this and saying the best case scenario of it is something that I don't want in a non-finish for sure. So
when you have Julia and Stephanie as your 2 champions for the women's division, you have the minimum number of women that you have as important at any one time is 4. And if you have, if you're working toward a multi-woman match, then that number goes up exponentially. You know what I mean? Like, even if you're doing a one-on-one for one title and a fatal 4-way for the other one, that's 6 women. Like, and you have enough women in your bullpen that you could bring in. I don't know. Let's say there are 9 to 12 women who could believably fill those 6 roles, including Julia and Stephanie as the champions. That's a really good problem to have. When, like, I don't know, man, we only got 6 spots for these women, but we got 12 of them who deserve it. Yeah, that's what you call, like,
champagne problem.
An embarrassment of champagne problem, caviar dreams. No, I just, it always bugs me when they do stuff like this. We're like, oh, what a dream event this will be, knowing full well they're just going to ruin it with some shenanigans. You know what I mean? And I just like that.
It's like when a commentator says, "Oh, that's got to be it," when someone hits their finisher.
Yes, agreed.
We do have some more super chats and humper chats
Yes, we do.
in the greeting variety.
We do. I'm looking at them right now. Ellen Jeanette says, "Hello, fightful friends. Today is a tough day as I got my little kitty's ashes this afternoon. It's a kick in the emotional Uranus. Thank you for all you do. I had to put my cat down a few years ago, and it was one of the hardest days of my life. So I fully empathize with you, Alan. That sucks. We are absolutely here for you, and I hope that we can bring you a smile to your face on a really tough day."
While Brawl Out was unfolding, had to put Buster down, who was
Mm-hmm.
a part of the show. Like, he was in the
Yeah.
background all the time. Very unexpected. He was only like 5 or 6 years old. It is an exquisitely painful thing that you kind of can't actually put into words, into my experience. So I'm so sorry that you're going through that, but the fact that you're already cracking Uranus jokes when we have space puns,
You're on your way back.
you are so on your way back, and we love you so much. And my goodness, how strong are you? Because you're coming in with space puns.
Yeah.
Already.
JW Pringle says, "Amazing Alex, Killer Kate, Proud Papa, Elizabeth Louise. Force one out for homie. And all the SGS. How sour are y'all? Super sour. The moon de bricks."
This was a mixed results episode tonight.
Yeah. Jambeard saying that, "But Alex and Kate, why not have Steph turn heel and sell her soul to The Rock to be the corporate double champ? It's the perfect storyline."
I mean, Steph dethroning Cody Rhodes.
No,
there's worse things.
That
match would rule, actually.
That's not a bad shout right there. I like that a lot. The match is going to be great. I just hate that I know for a fact they're going to do something wonky with it, and it just okay. So I don't think we have any. You know what? I'm going to get rid of some of these puns. We're going to get rid of some of these puns.
Knock off some puns.
They're cluttering up this thing of me being able to read this because we don't have our wonderful Luis here to like put them in a document so I can easily see them. So I'm doing this now. Let's get it out. Lieutenant Photo says, "Meteor men slapping meteors." It says Daddy Asteroid.
That's amazing.
Insert clever Nixon Newell pun, says Nixon Neutrinos.
Very nice.
Lieutenant Photo also says Dakota Kuiper Belt and Plutoni Storm. Meet Norma says Mercuria Ripley, Kid Satellite, Penta El Cerro Moon Landing, The Outer Rimmers, Star War Games, Cometaphor, Finn Solar, and Nation of Constellation.
Very nice.
Yeah. Electric Mayhem says, "You can't say asteroid belt. It's an asteroid championship title. And it's not a planetarium. It's a local astronomical facility." Meet Norma says, Charlotte Solar Flare, Orion Nemeth, and Orbit Femi.
Very good.
Alan Jeanette says the asteroid of irrelevancy. And UFO. And Comet U, not Chase U, but Comet U. That's good.
Very nice.
Electric Mayhem says Andre the Gas Giant, Abradromeda, and Main Event Horizon.
Very nice.
Tom LaValle says that's not a Max Moon, it's a space station Spears.
Very nice.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Another one. Louisville says Ludwig Kuiperbelt, Meteorite to Sensor, Nebula McGillicuddy, Lunar Vashon, Telescope Team 2000, and Big Bang Bang Bigelow.
Excellent.
I like also Big Bang Bronson Reed. Yeah,
I like that a lot.
Lieutenant Photo says Chase UFO.
Very good.
And B Norma says Pure Vulcan Collective. PVC.
R.I.P.
The Lunar Brothers, Darby Alien, Alistair Black Hole, Ruby Rocket, 2.0 Ozone, The Beast Cosmos, Gravity Jones, and Red Comet.
Gravity Jones over here.
Mm-hmm. The Zero Gravity Chamber from Ellen Jeanette.
Very good.
Spaces and Eights.
Hell yeah.
Pretty Pluto Avalon. Chris Saturnder. Oh my God, is that Planet Party?
I love that.
All right. So the faction that doesn't have a name, so it's two rookies, a bookworm, a guy who reads, and a dude who doesn't know how sleeves work. They showed a picture of themselves standing outside the arena and being like, "We're here. No one is safe." And in the photo, which is shot from behind, that dude also same sleeve, not in the hoodie. And again, I'm worried for him at this point.
It's a rough week on
it's
the
chilly in Cincinnati. It's chilly in Cincinnati. Like finish putting the anyway. They did show that they were in the arena during another post, up in the nosebleeds watching the Stephanie match. So you never can tell what they're going to be up to, but I'll bet you it's going to be sinister and really impactful, because why would you debut this faction if you were going to have them do basically nothing for a few weeks? That would be silly and dumb, but we'll get back to that later. What happened next in the evening, Kate? What was the next thing that happened?
The next thing that happened was, as I scroll, we have our TNA X Division Championship match with Moose and Lexis King, who got a nice pop here in Cincinnati, so good on him.
Right. He also walked past Obafemi on his way to the ring, talking about what a pop he was going to get. And I really wish he'd been wrong, but he was right. And he got a very big pop. And remember last week when I was like, the best thing you could possibly do here by giving Moose a tune-up match for Obafemi is to have Moose run through this guy like he's nothing, because let's be honest, that's what Lexis King is. He is a douchebag comedy heel that nobody likes, that is there to get heat. So like him getting a comeuppance in front of his home crowd would be fun. Instead, he got in so much offense on Moose, and it made Moose look like a total chump. And I know this pleases you because you're not a Moose fan at all, but it's a really terrible way to build to a dream match between Moose and Obafemi, is to have Moose mightily struggle against a far, far, far inferior wrestler to the one that he is going to be taking on in 2 weeks, Obafemi. That is a really poor way to build to what is being told to us by the production on NXT, that Moose versus Oba is a dream match.
I feel like it's a little bit of a monkey's paw situation of like, not even a monkey's paw, but a bit of a double-edged sword, in that like we shouldn't just be squashing people in their hometown for heat, because that sucks. Like we did that forever with Vince, and that sucked. And technically, like, he is a champion. I know that part of his championship reign is that he's like devaluing the stipulations of the exact championship he's holding. Yeah. So I get that, but they're at least telling us he's able to accomplish winning matches at a championship level. So I agree with you, like the way that he's been presented, and part of it's just the inconsistency with which he's been presented, because he was a heel and then he was a pretend face, but then he was a heel again. but the speech he gave when he turned heel was that he was somebody different than they showed us who he was going to be. It's all been very confusing.
Yeah.
But he did get a huge pop in his hometown. I don't have an interest really in Moose. I do have an interest in wrestlers getting matches that they want. So I'm excited for Moose and Obafemi to get what they want. I just don't have a major interest in that. But Alex, not everyone gets such a huge pop, my friend.
No, it's true. They don't.
Some people don't get the pop in their pants that they want.
Blue Chew, main event performance, main event confidence, and a main event deal. Go to BlueChew.com and use the code FIGHTFUL, and you will get Blue Chew with their first shipment for free. Shipment? Yeah, I said shipment. No waiting in line at the pharmacy, no awkward doctor's visits. You take their online exam, and then if approved, it's shipped straight to your door. That's right. Same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in a chewable form and much more affordable. How can you pass up on this? How can you pass up on that confidence? How can you pass up on that performance? How can you pass up on making your sex life better? That's what Blue Chew is here to do. You don't have to have a problem to use Blue Chew. Just get that additional performance. BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL.
Am I blurry? I feel like I'm blurry.
Yeah, you're a little blurry.
Autofocus, new camera. Get it together.
You look like Michael Cole yeeting when you were just doing that.
He does not know how to yeet. Look, it worked! We yeeted my camera back into focus.
Okay.
And if you want 69 stars in Tokyo Dome, BlueChew.com code FIGHTFUL is for you. How about that?
Yeah. We all want that. Tim asking about the quality of Lexis King's in-ring work. The thing of it is that he's not supposed to be a top in-ring worker, right? Like, that's not his deal. It never has been, except for to Booker T. And so to me, a guy who is all about getting heat, you know what I mean? And
Sure.
all about his big performance over the top type of guy, that believes his presentation, like the match starting with the ding dang, which is paramount, and him rushing Moose while Moose is standing with his back to him and beating him down in the corner. You know what I mean? And kicking him in like this and beating him up and stomping on him, stomping a mud hole in him, and then turning around to face his throngs of fans. And turns around and gets speared. Because he decided this was more of a performance for him than an actual match. You got an advantage on the dude who came in, and it's for his title. Like, you actually need to keep going at him, but you don't, because to you, that's not what this is about. To you, you're not here to like actually be a real wrestler. You're here to be a celebrity. And because you can't resist the cheers of your hometown crowd, you end up taking your eye off the ball and getting cut in half for it. And I feel like that is a really great way. Like, look what Moose did to the Heritage Cup champion. And then you could even do a little storyline with Lexis King afterwards, where people come clown him for losing so badly in this match. So he challenges one of them to a match and has a really good match with them and wins. There you go. We still haven't seen him defend the Heritage Cup with his own rules, really, have we? No, we did. We did with Fandango. That ridiculous thing. So, but him deciding, okay, we're gonna do this. I challenge you to a match. It'll be for my title, and we're doing it under Heritage Cup rules. So, regular rules then? Exactly. You could start something with this guy doing his little bottom of the mid-card title, and you could do this that would come out of something which would also make Moose look really good in preparation for a match he's got to be thought of as a serious contender for when Oba comes out to talk to Moose afterwards. he should have been laughing. He should have been laughing in his face. If that is the best you have got, you have no prayer against me. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing that he should, because that was not an impressive showing by Moose.
Correct. Yeah.
So that should be part of the story. Also, here is my title. I'm putting my title on the line. Not yours though. Like that's fine. Like we're already doing a title for title on the show. So that one should, like, Oba should insist, no, that one's on the line too. Otherwise there's no match. You know what I mean? But he doesn't, so it's fine. It's whatever. We're getting Oba versus Moose. For some, that's going to be a thing that will be highly anticipated, including for Oba and for Moose, which is the most important thing. So good there, but it does feel like this is a thing that they could have done a much better job of building to. I guess more of the build is going to happen this Thursday on TNA when Obafemi goes back there to do a 6-man tag. Him and the Hardys, I think, against the System featuring Moose. So that's going to be part of the little build to it too. So I guess we're just going to continue that.
Sure. I don't know. I feel like I'm glad that the people who want this are getting it, and the performers most of all. I getting excited about Moose and the Hardys in the same episode was a lot to ask of me. I'm sorry. I know that's not what people want. And there are so many cool things about the Hardys coming around.
Oh, I'm entirely on your side.
The in-ring was not one of them for me. I think it's always awesome when people get to see their childhood heroes, but I'm just like,
yeah, but when you were a child, the heroes that you had were much younger than they are now.
What was that?
When you were a child, the heroes that you had were much younger than they are now.
Correct. And again, I started watching in 2009.
Right.
So,
like
so many times that nostalgic acts come back. I just
right. You know what I mean? Like if I was let's say that I somehow was a professional basketball player, and I grew up idolizing Larry Bird, and I'm now in my mid-20s, and Larry Bird is 70, and I'm like, man, I get to meet my idol. Let's go one-on-one. Like, you just wouldn't do that because there's a point where it's not the same. There's no time machine. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a thing that you do.
Bump cards don't get less full.
Yeah.
But I just, I'm glad that, I think, I'll put it this way. I'm glad that the match is happening for the people that it's happening for. I think it's happening in an appropriate place to do it at Roadblock.
Yes, I agree.
I think that's a great call on that aspect. Am I personally excited for it? No.
Right.
Like, not all for me.
All right. You find out what the next thing that happened was, and I'm going to read this. C. Delgado says Martian Slamovich and Booker T minus 60 seconds.
The thing that happened next was I cried for Noam Dar. That's what actually happened. But what happened next to the show was Sean Spears.
Okay. I know
running a cult.
I know our friend SP3 hates this. Okay. And I think that Sean Spears is doing a fantastic job with the character. I am. Listen. I just want to congratulate the Beej on his new look, on the makeover that he got, because last week I said that he looked like something like. Last week, when all the bad guys were hanging around outside the ring, it Sean Spears and Nico Vance looked like they went to the same barber, You know what I mean? And they're very, very like high and tight, nice, neatly coiffed beard,
Like
and
Wheatley's, it was
and
so neatly done.
and Izzy Dame resplendent, and like the beach looked like partially shaved Bigfoot. Like I just it looked like something that if you were driving through a mountain road and it walked out from the tree line, you would swerve to avoid it. You'd make sure that it wasn't like the missing link or something. But tonight, like the new look that they showed off for him, the beard's been trimmed, the crazy hair is gone. It's all nice little height and tight for him too. He looks like he belongs in this particular faction now, which honestly, I didn't hate the look before when it was like the crazy dude who kept showing up to assault Vic Joseph on commentary and just wanted his damn job back. But that doesn't work for this thing that he's in now, and I'm so glad that they changed it because it actually works. They feel like a unit. I thought that the substance of this little vignette was very good, was well delivered. I don't know that I buy all of it. Like I'm gonna beat Tony D'Angelo for the title next week, although maybe but I thought this was better than I feared it was going to be.
Sure.
And so I'll give it some leeway. I'm still entirely unsold on Nico Vance. He just feels like a guy at this point because we've seen so little of him. But I'm looking forward to seeing what Sean Spears can get out of it because I trust him to be able to steer this in a good direction.
So I'm with you. When I look at a faction, whether or not I like it or if it's for me, what I try and see is the whole greater than the sum of the parts. If you've been following my thoughts on the Death Riders, you know that I am so vehemently the other way. Like I feel like all of those individuals are so incredible and this unit has fallen flat. When I look at something like this, I do look at Beach and I feel like considering we call him Beach, like I feel like he does have frontman energy. So I hope he doesn't get lost in this because I think he's actually quite good. But I do think someone as seasoned as Sean Spears can help wrangle a group like this into something special. Like I think I'm with you in that I'm like, okay, what he said tonight was pretty good, and I'll give it some breathing room because I've always been a Sean Spears, Ty Dillinger gal, and I think just someone with this much experience kind of orchestrating this group says they'll probably be doing things of consequence or things that are consistent storyline driven, which is what I feel like these people need right now. I don't know about Nico Vance, but like Izzy Dame, I think needs something consistent to be in. I think the same about Beach. So I do feel like this is probably a productive use of their time. Whether or not I'm super into it, the jury's still kind of out on in the same way that it sounds kind of like you are. But I'm not down on it, but I'm not like, oh, hell yeah, this is going to be taking over the program. I don't know if it's intended to, but I think this is best for the talent involved right now.
Later, listen, I understand the need for sponsored segments on your show. It's all about, getting the ad revenue and whatnot. But your progressive match flow should have a match involved in it. It's very distracting to do like
It rarely does.
Especially in NXT, there's not a match flowing anywhere. But we did get a scene in an Italian restaurant with the family. And the entirety of the scene has a giant progressive logo in the lower left corner of it, which doesn't quite work for this particular tenor of the scene of like Tony being like, Stacks, it's fine. You can't win them all. I appreciate what you did, putting the family first and trying to like make things right while I was gone, but I had to get away for a while, and I'm back. And I got to come after Sean Spears. I got to do this myself. And Stacks being like, I don't know if you're ready for this. And Luca's like, no, he's the boss. He's like, hey, He's the boss. He deserves to say. However, I'm saying this has got to be me. It's got to be me. I'm going to do this. And so we're getting Tony D and Sean Spears next week, and I just don't feel like that's going to be a thing that ends cleanly, because I don't think it's time yet for Sean Spears to beat Tony D'Angelo. But also, like, I have a master plan, and I've created the perfect group to take down Tony D'Angelo so that I may become North American champion. And next week, I shall defeat Tony D'Angelo and put the final nail in the coffin of the family. And then he just goes out and loses. Like, that's a great way to completely kill the faction. Like, I mean, like, yes, at that point, SP3 is right, and they are entirely dead on arrival. If you've decided we're going to present this dude as a mastermind and then have him go out there and just lose the match, that's a terrible thing to do to a faction like that.
I also think this could sustain itself to stand and deliver, and this is like your big multi-man match on the show, and I don't have a problem with that either. I think that's actually a really solid use of talent.
Yeah.
I also just like, it's really come into focus how important finger tenting is if you're leading a even vaguely creepy cult-like angle. Like, I don't mean like, oh, Wyatt 6 full level, but like,
right.
This is so important to finger tent.
No, like, this, the other thing is, I feel like we've gotten away from where the finger tenting belongs. Do not finger tent if you're wearing a creepy mask and do not shoot Chad Gable in the forehead. Don't use finger tenting then.
Agreed.
Do use finger tenting if you're doing some kind of weird, like, Scientology type of cult where, like, I have brought in all these people and their thetan readings are off the charts. And
yes,
like that, like, that's when you do this. This is the thing. You do that for this. You don't do it for that's not the good time for it, you know?
Well, Alex, you also mentioned the progressive match flow, which makes me think.
I did.
Boy, sponsors sure are valuable to our shows,
They
Alex.
are.
We love our partners here at Fightful Podcasting.
Yeah.
And sincerely, there might be nobody that we love more than Matthew Hooks, who sponsors the show once a month. Our partners are actual human beings. They're not match flows from insurances, okay?
No.
They're independent creators like us over here, really. So please support Matthew Hooks. He does incredible voiceover work for national and international brands. You can check out his demos and you can learn more about him all over his website at hookedinvoiceovers.com. He's been a fantastic sponsor of this particular brand of crazy for a long time, and also a sponsor of the Fightful Awards. We thank him so much for his monthly support. He's the best, and if you're able to, show him support on social media, show him support at his website. Really accessible rates. We have a lot of creators that watch our stuff and support us, and if you need like voiceover work for your intros or anything like that, he's got affordable rates and knows what he's doing over there. So he'll walk you through the whole process from pre-production the whole way through. So hookedinvoiceovers.com. Please support Matthew Hooks, because we love our sponsors just like they love progressive, I guess. But ours have a face and a name and a hook, and it's Matthew Hooks. We got a humper chat from Rafael Garcia that says, I hope you enjoyed NXT NA. There was like a pretty intense crossover this one.
It was.
Can't wait to hear your thoughts on NXT NA. Roadblock, nothing screams X Division quite like boozing up a Buffy. That's a really funny point. I'm happy to see the Hardys and Santino. I'm sad that we didn't get Modest to show the Hardys our TNA. Danny Lunar and Spack were the puns of putting Spock and Pack together. The bastard Spack. Spock. There you go.
Very good. Very good. We have some more here, so I'm going to do this. Everett Smith says Mariah Milky May and Malachi Black Hole. Meet Norma says Prince Nasa. Prince Nana, Prince Nasa. Space Austin, Stone Cold Space Austin, Big Galaxy E, Sputnik Jackson, Dante Martian, Ion Riccaboni, Launch Luger, and then wants Regal to sing Rocket Man. Yeah, we'll do that. Toodles, and then Everett Smith also says Sky Blue Nebula. So
nice.
These are good. Keep them coming.
Please do.
Wait, hold on. The Big Bang Gang. Oma Femisphere. Heat Death Riders of the Universe. Thank you very much.
Nice.
So we did get a little scenelet of Ariana Venti and her father,
We did.
Santino Not So Venti, and which was interrupted by Lola Vice, who we haven't seen do much of anything for a long time.
Yeah,
but she
they
basically
can't decide whether she's a face or a heel. It feels like
now she's a heel again.
Yeah.
I guess she at least has heel energy,
which I think is better for her. So I'm glad.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, that was a weird little thing. We were like, I loudly proclaim that I am a female of Latin descent, and then put my butt in somebody's face, and like you went from like that was her basically her character. I shake my butt a lot after I win, and then you were like, my mother was dying of cancer when I tried to qualify for the Olympics, and I was like, what a backstory for the villain! Like I didn't see that coming. And they're like, no, she's not the villain anymore. She's a babyface now. All the people that she hated 2 minutes ago, she's best friends with them now. And I always hate when they do that. So I'm happy that they've gone her back to at least being a badass tweener, which I think is a sweet spot. But anyway, she basically demanded a match with Ariana Venti tonight, which they had later on. Have we already reached the NQCC thing, or am I jumping the gun? What else? What else was happening?
We also have Jordan Grace. She's walking backstage,
right?
And we get this, which was also confusing because Roxanne's straight up in a contendership match on the main roster.
Let's break this down, Kate, because Jordan Grace shouldn't be in NXT, but she is, so she's there. So she comes out to cut a promo on how great Stephanie and Julia are, but she can feel how they are apprehensive about how Jordan, is here to tear down everything that they've built. And I'm like, hold on them building anything, because they've been here since the fall, and like they're both champions now. But I would say that they're like they were like the cherries on top of the thing that got built. So,
correct, yeah.
They're definitely on top. But I don't know about them building anything. However, that I won't be standing next to them like I was last week. I'm going to be standing across from one of them, and then I'm going to prove that I am the juggernaut, and I'm going to beat them. And then Roxanne's music hit, and I was like, she is actively in the Elimination Chamber on Friday. Why the hell would she, like, she's going to, in her mind, win the Chamber and challenge Rhea Ripley for the title on Raw. Why is she like this has so much of like 19-year-old hanging out at their high school they graduated from? Like, just you can move on with your life. You don't have to come back around here and like bully all the kids who were sophomores when you were like, that's not a thing.
It's giving Uncle Rico. It is giving Uncle Rico.
I mean, at least like Roxanne, like, watch me throw a football over them mountains. Like, that is not necessarily the best thing to do for Roxanne. But Roxanne and her do have history. And they're like, this is my division. I'm still here now. And she, like, it feels like Roxanne, the character, would be like, get me the hell out of this place. I'm too big for NXT. I've moved the hell on. You know what? I don't have my title anymore, but I don't need it, because I'm getting a better title at WrestleDamn-Mania. After I win the Elimination Chamber match, I'm going on to face Rhea Ripley. I'm going to blow right through her like nobody's business. I'm going to be the champion on Raw. You can have your little warehouse, Jordan. I'm going up because she's a heel. She should heel on the whole thing.
A heel who already beat Jordynne Grace.
And that's another deal. So, like, if this is part of it, and what we're getting is Jordynne Grace versus Roxanne as Stand and Deliver, like, Roxanne has already moved up in everybody's minds. She's qualifying for Elimination Chamber matches. She's the longest ever in a single Women's Royal Rumble record holder. Like, she's moved up. She doesn't need to still be here anymore. You have enough women to fill her spot. She's gone now, effectively. She doesn't need to be here taking up another roster spot. Zarya should have interrupted Jordynne Grace. I get that you're the juggernaut, but I'm the real juggernaut, bitch. Like, that would be, like, that should be a thing. You can't decide. You can't just show up and lay claim to being the biggest, baddest woman here unless you've gone through me first. Is a very easy thing to do and would be better than whatever the hell they're doing with Zarya. Like, do that instead. Then
Boy, do I agree with that.
Can go on to the main roster. She can face Bayley in a real feud after Elimination Chamber. She can get herself involved in the IC title picture for the belt at WrestleMania. She can win it there for all I care, and then have a pretty cool little run there as the IC champion on Raw. She doesn't need to do anything in NXT anymore. She's moved beyond it.
Especially since, like, I thought they'll do a one-on-one with her and Cora. I didn't think she was going to be starting a new program or walking back into one.
Yeah.
She's literally listed internally, according to Fightful, as a main roster talent, which she is because she's in the freaking Elimination Chamber. So
I know.
I always like seeing Roxanne because she's a great wrestler, but I don't want to see her around anymore, Alex. I feel like it's time for her to move on. And I definitely don't want to see her coming back into a program where she already beat one of the people. Because that's not even unfinished business. That's the most finished business. I'm not quite sure what the deal with her coming back to that is, but I'll tell you this. I know what the deal is with Trick Williams because we've seen the cycle. Babyface, undeniably over, strap him up, give him a title, screw up the title reign in 3 defenses or less, 50-50 him after he drops the title because we're completely aimless, turn him heel. That's it. That's all we get with Trick Williams. They have no idea what to do with this guy. Alex, what are we doing? No, he did very well in this segment, I gotta say. He looked like pretty natural with what's going on. So I appreciate that. But, like,
but like, there's only so much naturalism you can offer with a script that makes no fucking sense. Like, why does he hate Javon Evans all of a sudden? Because Javon Evans is trying to, like, find common ground with him on the, like, also, like, he's obviously scrolling through social media and they're all saying, like, bad things about Trick Williams and he's angry about it. And Javon's like, you can't pay attention to that bullshit. And he's like, what do you know about it, man? And he's just like that. What I'll tell you what they're doing. What they're doing is saying that Trick Williams on his way up is going to be a heel to put over Ricky Starks. That's because Ricky Starks needs something to do at whatever that is. And I feel like that's a thing that you can do. You can easily make Trick, this version of Trick, hate Obafemi, who's really not a heel at this point. He's just a force of nature. Like, you cannot
yeah. Like,
a hurricane is not a heel or a face. A hurricane is a hurricane. You know what I mean? That's what Obafemi is. He's a destructive force of nature. He's not doing it because he doesn't like anybody or he's not doing it for the fans. He just does it because that's who he is. So having Ricky Starks being the new top babyface guy that we all love and root for, not because he's like an underdog, but because he's so damn cool and with it and hip, just like all the kids like. And then Trick Williams, who's bitter and jaded, and he wants his title back. That's a ready-made triple threat for NXT.
Sure.
And, you know what I mean? And having that be a part of it of Trick getting pinned by Oba. And then Ricky not getting the pin and him having to chase Oba for, let's say, 8 months. I don't know, but like a while, because I'm not ready for Oba to lose the title to Ricky Starks yet. But I think he should at this point, like eventually. So like that's a really ready-made thing. Like we also saw like Javon doesn't like Trick, but like Ricky comes in and is like, hey, I'll give me a handshake, and he's like, I will fist bump you instead. And that's a message being sent. And Trick's like, I know who you are, and he leaves. Like, why is everybody so damn angry around here? I really like this version of Ricky Starks. He goes,
I get being angry, but all the time.
Yeah,
got me so good.
I also feel like this is probably what they might be doing.
I also think that I hope so.
Resetting Trick as a bad guy, so that when he gets to the main roster, he's already established as a bad guy. So then he can reunite with Mello and they can be a thing. Feels like something they could do, but not on the same show as the Street Profits. Because I feel like you only got one of those duos, and like badass black guys as a tag team running around being cool and kicking people's asses is only available to one tag team per show to do that particular gimmick. You know what I mean? Figure out a way to get Mello and Trick over onto Raw if you're going to do that with them. But like Street Profits are like, especially because like I don't want Mello and Trick to crowd out them finally doing something pretty friggin' cool with the Street Profits. Like, I also don't want them to be like, well, hey, man, you guys are badass streetwise black fellas, and these two guys are badass streetwise black fellas. Yeah. Why don't we put you together in a super mega faction? You won't be booked to win anything, but you'll be very threatening to the people who watch at home.
I did like the bit about. I liked where Trick launched from saying, we are not the same, man. Like, you are fighting over your smile. I'm fighting over my lost title. Like, we are in different worlds with that. Yeah. So I really, really liked that. I just don't understand why they can't figure out how to tap into the most over charismatic guy on your roster. Like, maybe because they don't want him and Ricky walking the same path, and maybe because Trick is going up soon and hopefully going to align with Mello. I do think that's the appropriate call. If it's have Carmelo be face to match Trick, or have Trick turn heel to match Mello, you have Trick turn heel to match Mello. So, but man, talk about two guys who are phenomenal that they just stick in the mud with their own booking, where if they just got out of their own way, these guys could shine. Yeah. I love the way Ricky's walked in here, just like, damn, why is everyone so mad all the time? Like, I like that the excited to be here shiny newness is still there, and he's just like, what is this place a little bit? Mm-hmm. I find that very fun. Ricky also said something in an interview that I need to figure out for him to say on screen, but I don't want it to be about Shawn Michaels when he does, because I think it's a compelling in-character thing to say. He said basically that there's like an intimacy with someone when you're understood by someone who was also misunderstood, which was how he said talking to Shawn Michaels was like coming over from AEW. And I was like, that's unintentionally a great promo line. And I think he just said it in an interview, because I think that's how he felt. I was like, that line needs to make its way on screen to someone, because that is a concept that is rampant in wrestling that was articulated beautifully, I feel like.
Yeah, but when was Shawn Michaels ever misunderstood, though? Like, I think we understood exactly what he was about. I understand that he thought he was misunderstood, but
it's all perceptions.
I know it's entirely all perception, but I don't. But like Shawn Michaels believing he was misunderstood is very different than somebody correctly believing they were misunderstood.
But we don't know, right? Like,
yeah, I suppose. I don't know. I think we know enough about Shawn Michaels to know whether or not he was misunderstood. I think that they did a fine job with this little trick thing. I'm glad he keeps saying I want my title back.
Yes, he's still fixated on it, which he should be.
Eddie Thorpe cut a really cool little vignette promo about like being around here, this area. This is where my tribe was pushed off our land and pushed out west and forgotten about, and disrespected. And that's, hey, what do you know? What a coinky dink. That's how I feel right now because I won the biggest match of my career and still nobody gives me a title shot. Oh, by the way, Trick, if you want some more, I'm right here. So like we're gonna do more of this. I think we all kind of saw that coming after their match against each other, but now this version of Trick doesn't feel like the guy that you put up against this version of Eddie Thorpe, because Trick is now fully jaded and certainly heelish, and so is Eddie Thorpe, and that seems like a weird pairing. But we'll see more about any of that.
There's like a major certainty in Eddie Thorpe's character that just wasn't there for a really long time that I like. Like, yeah, he's really, really sure of who he is now, and that's awesome to see on screen and not have it stunted by weird character decisions or injuries or whatever. Like, we're just getting some more consistent clarity out of Eddie Thorpe, and he's a hell of a wrestler, so I like this.
Yeah. I'll talk about this now. I don't know exactly what happened in order. You'll tell me when we're done talking about this, but there was a backstage scene with Sol Ruca and Zarya. Zarya apparently sprained her wrist, not really, but in canon, in kayfabe, sprained her wrist doing more headstands on the beach.
Yes.
And we were not meant to walk on our hands, she says in some kind of philosophical thing. And Sol Ruca's like, yeah, but that kind of training is what got us to beat Lash and Jakara. Yeah, I guess you're right. And then in comes Piper, part of Secret Hervis, and Chelsea, and there's some back and forth. And a match is made between Chelsea and Piper and Sol and Zarya, and Ryan Giacchini is saying the objective thing. The Zarya direction is what I would have done, but her and Sol getting main roster reps excites me. Power moves on Piper and maybe eventually Raquel. Like I said, Zarya absolutely should be the person who interrupts Jordan Grace, and they should build a feud a la Hobbs and Big Bill. Yes. On site, two giant people beating the absolute F out of each other whenever they see each other. That is what they should be doing. In the absence of that, if there is not a spot for some reason for Zarya, for Zelta, in NXT on the Stand and Deliver card, if we can get her and Sol as part of a multi-team women's title match for the tag titles at WrestleMania, that's a big deal. That's a very, very big deal, and both of them deserve that kind of shine. So I don't anticipate them winning, but Zelta doing all of her awesome stuff to main roster women is a great thing for her as well. It's just, again, not what I would have done, but I can't argue that it's a bad thing.
Yeah, her and Piper mixing it up is something I hadn't thought of that I really want to see. This segment,
I want to see if it's treated as something serious and not as...
Sure. Yeah, if they actually get to wrestle, yeah. Like, Piper is criminally underrated and how funny she is in these. Her and her taser. Her timing with stuff, like, Chelsea's unbelievable, don't get me wrong. Like, she is, and she deserves all the love that she gets for it. But I feel like Piper doesn't get as much love as she could because she's unreal in this role. She's a beautiful woman. She is gorgeous. But she has like these old Hollywood looks, especially. I just think she's striking. But the taser really got me. And I liked the back and forth of Sol Ruca saying, hey, we've won, though, a couple matches in a row now. What about you? What are you doing here? It works. So if it leads to more main roster stuff, I think that's awesome, because I also think that Sol Ruca is about as ready as she could be outside of
I mean,
like giving her proper title reign. She's ready to rock and roll. So
real quick, more women's stuff before we get to another match, whatever the next match was.
The Hardys and
we'll talk. It's such an interesting framing device of like, hey, I'm doing Instagram Live. I'm Ariana Venti, and I'm sitting here with Kalani Jordan, and we're talking on the bus for some reason. Anyway, I heard you got into it with Jada Parker. Tell me all about that while I was gone in TNA. And Kalani's like, yeah, well, I just don't like her. And Jada Parker's way in the back being like, don't you talk about me. And they got up and they fight like it's a bus for students. And then we get Jada Parker interviewed, and she drops a lot of hip phrasing that I only partially understand the slang terms of. But she is proclaiming loudly that she is not the one. And I assume with whom to mess with or whatever, but that she would like to fight Kalani Jordan, and all of this stuff that you got going on. We're done with all of this fake hard stuff that you're doing, because I'm the real one, and then you're not gonna. There may be a him in WWE, but you are not her. I kind of like that idea, since her and Kalani and Mello were actually dating. I thought that was that
was cute line. Yeah.
So Kalani and Jada Parker wrestling is a fine little thing here. I like that they're giving more of Kalani's edge to her without having her wear dark eye makeup.
I don't know if you had this, but I know a couple of other people were watching NXT at home, and Jada, when you watch on Netflix from Canada, as I was in, they have on commercial breaks just piano music and wrestlers flexing and doing.
No, I do not see that. No.
So this one was stuck on Roxanne, and Jada would come in, and then it was like Roxanne was the Wyatt Six. Like, it was cutting in and out so much, but with a pre-taped, obviously, video.
Weird.
It was so bizarre, and I'm like, hush. John Moxley and the Death Riders are here to take over the station. What has happened? So I unfortunately missed most of what Jada had to say. But that was a very bizarre little situation that happened, Alex. But right. I'm excited for that match, because they're two of the breakout talents from kind of the same pack of ladies.
And we're getting a lot better stuff out of Kalani now. I would not have been excited for this match 4 months ago.
Agreed.
But I am really excited for this match now.
Hell yeah.
So no quarter catch crew, the NQCC. Mm-hmm. Against the Hardy Boys. I want to bring this up real quick from Tim McFall. I usually complain about Booker, but tonight I'm really disappointed with Vic. Making fun of Myles Borne's disability is not funny. Booker even called him out on it, and so did Corey. Corey called him disgusting. I wouldn't have said it, but I do know that Myles Borne constantly makes fun of his own disability. And I don't know if it's one of those things of like Myles, like I ran that line by Myles and he said, "No, it's really funny, use it." But we don't see Myles telling you that, Vic. So just don't, because what he said was, even Myles Borne can hear that pop. Myles Borne, of course, being deaf, it's just not okay. Even if the dude says, "Yeah, that's funny, use it." Just not in this context, like not when you can. I don't know. Like they did a whole friggin' series of jokes with the No Quarter Catch crew.
Yes,
about him not being able to hear Charlie Dempsey, and it's Corey told us, no, that's all Myles thinks that's funny, so they do it, and I'm like, I feel like it might be seen as insensitive by people who are like parents of deaf children. You know what I mean? Like that is just, yeah, I don't know. It just
So
didn't
there's a
work out for
couple
me very
things
good.
with it. The first is whether or not he's okay with it, which is honestly like the most important part. Which, to your point, they make fun of it a lot on screen. Like he makes fun of it a lot on screen, but there's a really big difference when like I'm trying to think, like when I make fun of myself as a woman versus like you making fun of me as a woman, or like if Sean made fun of me as a woman.
Sure.
And how I think it's important to have that distinction with how it reads to an audience. If you made a joke about me being as a woman, I would not be offended because I know you, and I think you might be even more feminist than I am. So, like, it's in the same ballpark at least. So like, there's a difference when you have a public audience that is also if they're not in on it, right? So I don't like that. The second thing is it wasn't a funny joke. Like it was also just a bad dad joke. So
yeah, I know.
It's the crime of it also being unfunny. Like it's mean spirited and for what payoff?
Well, you don't want to say anything on commentary that Booker T can be like, damn, that is not okay.
Booker T is
you know what I mean?
I don't know how I feel about that. That's not good.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, the Hardys did get a very big pop.
They did.
When they left for AEW, if you were to say they'll eventually wrestle in a WWE capacity again one day, would you think it would be here in this while signed to TNA? Like, no, that's such a crazy. I thought they were done. And the way Jeff exited the company just by like, I'm at a house show, I'm just gonna leave. I'm just gonna leave in the middle of my match. And they were like, no, sorry, you got to get out of here. And like then they had Randy Orton actively murder Matt Hardy. Like they left WWE, and for them to come back in this way, and again, the crowd's always going to pop for them. So this match is as good as the Hardys are capable of being at this point in their man. They're not necessarily that old compared to other people. However, the bump cards are full. These men have broken their body. So many damn ladder matches.
Dude.
They've done so much to themselves that they actively can't move around the way that you should be able to. And it is sometimes hard to watch. Like when Jeff did the Whisper in the Wind, there was nothing whispering about that was a scream in a shitstorm. Like that, he actively power bombed himself. That looked so uncomfortable when he did I'm gonna jump up there and go like, and he just dropped directly onto the back of his head, and the ref had to go and check on him. Like, you don't need to be doing this stuff anymore. You are widely regarded by the people that you are facing, who are these kids, and by so many people, as one of the top 2 or 3 tag teams of all time. You have nothing left to prove. Like, I feel so uncomfortable when I see Jeff Hardy take bumps like that. I'm like, dude, that one of those things is going to absolutely knock something loose up there. You gotta be more careful.
Some really good things here. You never want to see, and I don't mean this because I saw a lot of like, I know this is going to shock people, but vitriol online of people saying like, how many chances is Jeff Hardy going to have and whatever. And it's like, I don't think that's for us to determine, but I hate when somebody has to go out because of struggles with addiction. That just sucks.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm glad that right now things are good. That's awesome.
Yes, that's awesome.
And I love that people get to go out on their own terms. And I think because there's competition, we've gotten to see more of that than ever. I also think they looked better here than they did pretty much the entire time that they were in WWE. I think the opponent was absolutely the right choice. I think going with guys that are going to be targeting the ligaments and like going after stuff like that was absolutely the right call. I think it's so cool people get to face their heroes. There's not like a lot more that I can say outside of that, except that it's cool that this gets to happen. Because like it's not like any legend do. Man, you said their bump card. Do you know how many free meals they got? Like if you get a free meal on your 10th bump, that was every match that these guys put on. So I don't mean to be insensitive when I say this, but what they're doing now is a watered down version of what they did because of course it is. What they did
because
was
of course it
insane.
is. Because of course it is.
So it's cool to get to see, and I don't mean to be insensitive to that at all, but it is like I don't think I'm as hyped as everybody else on it, and I'm way more worried about the Fraxio match. I'm not as worried from the sense that like those are two absolute professionals, but I have problems keeping up with them watching. Like I'm kind of more concerned what that match looks like. I think it's going to have to be carefully agented, but these are also veterans who know tag team wrestling better than anybody else. So hopefully they put together something really cool. But and I think best tag team going today versus best tag team of all time is a good enough story.
It's a good enough story. When the Blurry Boys, when Fraxium comes down to talk to the Hardys after the Hardys win, and says like, "Hey, you know, we're the best tag team in the world right now, and you're the best tag team of all time," and back and forth, and Jeff puts some, you know, bass in his voice and talking about let's have a match about it, and now comes Santino to say, in 2 weeks at Roadblock, it's going to be Fraxium versus the Hardy Boys for the TNA titles. Why is it for the TNA titles though? Because I don't envision like whoever is facing the Blurry Boys at Stand and Deliver needs to break that up and at least cost them the match, if not outright DQ the whole thing and it just falls apart. Because Tim McFall asks, how many bricks will it be when the Hardys beat Fraxium? Because I don't know. You're gonna have to find. There's
not enough masonry in the world.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they've made enough bricks for like. It's just not. It's nostalgia has a place certainly in wrestling, and that place is not being booked to beat the present day top guys. Like it's just not, and it's why Jericho beating Bandito will always be the wrong choice. It's why the Hardys beating the Blurry Boys, who are the absolute best tag team going right now. They're on a crazy hot streak. They do amazing stuff. This is the Blurry Boys versus the Slow Motion Men, and I'm not ready to watch it because
versus the Slow Motion.
That's basically what we're gonna be watching. It's there. Like if this. I'm telling you, if you could put the Hardys in a time machine and send it back to 2001, I'd watch that match 1,000 times. But this is not who the Hardys. It's not even. You can't even put the Hardys. That's like it's even the Hardys from like 2015. This is the Hardys from 2025, and they're just not the same dudes. And they should at no point ever be considered to be a team that could beat this version of Fraxium. It's just not a thing that should be happening.
So I don't like that, but I like it more. I don't like it at all, but it's less bricks from me being thrown. If they're going up to the main roster, and if this is like everybody's been wanting this Hardy's last run, I'd rather take place in NXT than on the main roster. However, I think the way
it's not for the NXT titles. It's just for the TNA titles.
So hear me out on this. What if Idris and Malik, because they're cleared now, and they had that incredible first match, are the ones to come and mess this up, and then we set up Idris and Malik at Stand and Deliver for the Blurry Boys.
No, Idris and Malik have been nothing since that match. They've been less than nothing. They've been cast aside. They've been taking 3-minute losses to people who aren't nearly the Blurry Boys. They did have that amazing match, but I don't want them to be like, hey, Edison Ofei got cleared and now we're tag title contenders all of a sudden. No, you have other teams. Build somebody up. Figure out a way to get there. But don't.
Okay, but the measure of how much a tag team wants it is just if they brawl around.
No, but not what I want though, and I just can't. I cannot get behind them losing to the Hardys clean. If somebody costs them, I mean that's the
That's
best.
What I mean. Idris
the
and Malik
best,
cost them.
Right? The best. I just don't want it to be Idris and Malik. If the best case scenario is a team costing the Blurry Boys a title match against the Hardy Boys, that I have to watch them go at 0.5 speed so they can be a little faster than the Hardys. Like I don't want to watch that for them to then just lose because somebody comes in and pushes Nathan Frazier off the top rope. I mean, I don't know, who is it? Like it's not going to be Idris and Malik. So like who's a team that like is that now?
I mean the Rascals, but we kind of like. I feel like I already went to that well.
No.
This pops me.
They are more Team Excedrin than Team Extreme at this
Look,
point.
I'm in my late 30s and I've taken 0 bumps, and I'm also Team Excedrin. So let's not.
DIY also, they did have that interaction a few weeks ago. Maybe it's DIY? Yeah.
That could be sneakity sneaks. I don't
DIY
that.
is the thing. Malik has a torn ACL. Edison Ofei cleared. Malik not cleared.
I thought Malik just got cleared. No?
No, that's Edison Ofei. They just got cleared from his shoulder.
Oh my God, these poor guys.
Yeah. That's yes. Yeah. So I'm just not. JW Brent says throw bricks at the moonsault. So I don't know. I might. You find out what happened next, and then I'm going to read some of these puns. Meet Norma says one small yeet for man, one giant yeet for mankind.
That's excellent.
Tom LaValle says stardom, cosmic angel, Empress Nexus Venus. Empress
I'm
Nexus
so
Venus.
mad at myself. I didn't think of stardom. It's right
Stardom.
there.
Very obvious, right? We should have done that a long time ago. I also wanted to bring this up from Jambeard, letting us know. Just wanted to give an update on the charity stream myself and Tom LaValle mentioned last week. Tom Grossi streamed for 170 hours and was able to raise $1.02 million US. The charity was to help provide college schooling for kids who lost military parents in service. The amount he raised will provide 411 full scholarships or 164 years of college trade school. That is awesome. Was that 170 straight hours? Because he slept during that, right? Because that I wouldn't be able to do that. I've played video games for a long time consecutively, but never 170 hours. So
that's incredible. I think that's what Adam Pearce was showing his tootsies on stream for.
Yeah,
so
it was.
I'm glad, but that's awesome. I just want to make it abundantly clear, like your money just goes back to Fightful here. We're not altruistic at all. Just give us your money. But,
the charity is me and my paycheck.
Yeah, exactly. So
Jim Beard says, since we are getting NXT versus TNA title matches, where is Joe and Masha? Why not have
Masha
them versus Oba and Julia respectfully instead?
Masha especially. Joe Hendry is busy with Elias Elijah Ezekiel. And also the clones.
Also what?
Primo and Epico came back. The clones?
No.
You didn't see this?
No, I'm not watching TNA. What happened? No. Remember their terrible vignettes where they were on a beach in Puerto Rico for like 6 months
Los
and then debuted
Matadores.
and lost over and no. Post Los Matadores, when they were just Los Colones, they were Los Colons because their booking was so full of shit. Like they just showed up and and did vignettes for I swear to God, it felt like a full-on year. And then they showed up and they just got squashed in every match. Like,
I vaguely remember this.
Oh my goodness.
This was post Rosa Mendez getting released too, I think.
Yeah, I did not realize that they were still around, man.
I don't think they were, but they came back at the same time as Ezekiel Elijah. And they all came back in the same segment. Ezekiel.
They were the shining stars of the Caribbean.
The shining stars.
The shining stars is what they called them.
And then they never won.
And then they booked them to lose every match.
Oh my God. I saw them at a house show and they were so sad. They were so sad at that house show.
I forgot they called them the shining stars. Oh my goodness.
Like, Elijah showing up. I get because like the guitar thing, right? Like they both had the music gimmick.
Yeah.
Primo and Epico, people were losing their minds like it was the Hardys tonight, which kind of confused me. But so he seems entrenched in that program, which for obvious reasons might not want to cross over with WWE.
Sure, I got it.
But Masha feels like, duh, where is Masha versus Julia?
I don't know, man. Hey, look, Jay Suit, the shining stars fits the space puns.
It does.
Isn't that nice?
They knew all that time ago.
They did know. What happened next? What happened next?
Well, we have our vignette of the family.
Yeah, we got that.
And we have Ariana versus Lola Vice.
Yeah, Lola Vice again. I am still unclear on the inherent connection between being a female of Latin descent and putting your butt in somebody's face rather hard. Because as far as I know, Toni Storm is not a Latina, and she does that move. And Jacob Fatu, definitely not a Latina, and he does the move. So when she stands in the middle of the ring and screams, "I'm a Latina," and then does that particular move, it seems to me like there's a connection between her being a Latina and her doing that move. And I feel like that is not an inherent connection because other people also do the move.
It's the rectangles are squares, not every square is a rectangle. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Like Latina ladies are known for having nice derrieres.
Right.
So it would make sense that they would use them to finish a match. Jacob Fatu, no shade. I haven't actually taken a gander at what he's got going on, but I know he hip checks people into oblivion. So
Jacob Fatu in Lola Vice's ring gear for 2K25. Let's see how that works out for him. Yes. So she mops the floor with
2.5 minutes.
And I'm like, that is at maximum how long the match between Moose and Lexis King should have been. Like that's how you actually present somebody as being a serious force to be reckoned with. And she hits her with a back fist. She pins her, neat and tidy. 1, 2, 3. We actually now are presenting Lola Vice as somebody to look at and be like, okay, she could be a threat. You know what I mean? Like we need what we need. You need to do that every so often with people.
It's true. And Lola Vice hasn't really been entrenched in anything since the Jada Parker stuff. My only thing here was Ariana just got back and he kind of smushed her like really fast.
Well, but she's not a wrestler. You know what I mean? She's not a wrestler. Like she was the liaison to TNA. Like she's like that. That's not. I don't think anyone is thinking, okay, well, all she's got to do is get a few wins under her belt and she'll be in title contention. That's not the character that she plays. Like, I'm not saying she couldn't be if they chose a different character for her, but she's the woman who talks herself into a bad position where she has to accept a match and then gets her ass handed to her. That's kind of what her character is. I'm not like, oh, well, she's back. Now things are going to get serious. That's just not what her character is to me.
It was just a very quick smoosh for somebody who just got back here. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly don't view it as the same as somebody else who might be coming back after a long absence. Like, it's like, oh, AJ Styles just got back and he got smooshed in 2 minutes. Like that's AJ Styles. He's a different person.
No. But like, we didn't even get to see her do a ton of silly stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, they should have had her interact with Chelsea Green.
Yeah, what the heck? Those two went super viral last time. They were crying in the back.
Like Ariana Venti should talk to Chelsea Green when Chelsea Green's going to be there to have their match next week. Ariana Venti needs to absolutely be reunited with Chelsea Green.
I agree.
Like, has to happen backstage.
No brainer.
Yeah.
There are no brains.
Yeah. Lieutenant Photo says, I had a freaking blast hanging out with Effie on Friday. He's hilarious. AEW canceled Megan Bain's indie appearance, but the photo shoot is on the next visit. So, too bad you missed out on Megan Bain, but awesome that you hang out with Effie. That's really cool.
Hell yeah.
Was that it before the main event?
Well, we have the Mystery 4.
Right. The Mystery 4. Wow. Making statements. Last week, at the end of the show, they broke into the general manager's office and attempted murder on her assistant and left "No one is safe" scrawled in Robert Stone's own blood on the wall of the general manager's office. And somehow they were allowed into the building in Cincinnati. And once they're there, no one is safe, including No Quarter Catch Crew and no one else. Like 2/3 of the way through the episode, they apparently had attacked No Quarter Catch Crew backstage and then left. And brother, is this not the way to actually start doing stuff with the faction that doesn't play by your rules? People in charge, we're coming. No one is. If like you what? There is a absolute de-escalation in we broke into the general manager's office and nearly murdered Robert Stone and scrawled in his blood, "No one is safe" on the wall of the general manager's office. That's way up here. And way down here below the line where you can see my hand is we took out a middle of the road mid-card faction. That is some terrible retribution ass booking of your faction we should all be scared of. Like I kept thinking after this, okay, after the end of the match, they're going to come out and they're going to attack Ricky Starks or Javon Evans, or whoever standing in the middle of the ring. And they didn't do that at the end of the main event. Nothing happened.
Weird target. Real weird target. Not so intimidated. Feels learn from the Death Riders angle, man. Everybody's been saying it doesn't feel like the whole roster's on notice with those guys in this. Yeah. Also, feels like not the whole roster is on notice with these guys.
No.
But yeah, felt retribution-y, and that the story went with retribution, that there was no plan for that, and Vince just said it. And it feels like they were like, we need a big stable. There were like some intentionality with it, but we will see. We will see. But that does bring us to our main event, Alex. So I will say, because we are shorthanded especially, this is your last call for Super Chats and not for Chats.
Absolute last call.
Last dance. Last dance for a chance.
Boy, I miss watching Ricky Starks.
Oh my god, he's so good.
One of my favorite things that I remember him doing in AEW and I've forgotten about was him hitting the atomic drop, which always feels like a dumb little move. Like, I'm going to make you sit down really hard on my knee. I know that would be bad on your spine, but it always makes like, ooh, your butt hurts. And him like mimicking, oh, ow, oh, when he's walking around as Wesley is doing that, just great. He's such a fantastic showman. Of all the stuff that he does is so excellent. All four of these guys did a great job with this little throwaway tag team match.
They did.
You know, like it really is. It's a throwaway little tag team match. It extends the thing between Javon and Ethan. Eventually, Javon gets the better of Ethan. Ethan runs away through the crowd and is left to just Ricky and Wesley, which this is what the match should have been. Ricky Starks never should have debuted in a tag match. Like, you're killing two birds with one stone, having having the Javon and Ethan thing advanced by this at the same time as you're doing this new thing with Ricky Starks. Also Ricky and Javon becoming like pseudo allies so they can have each other's back whenever they're doing stuff here. It's actually in canon that they know each other and have teamed together before. That's a good thing that will be useful in booking going forward. But really, Wesley versus Ricky Starks, Ricky Saints, that's the first match you should have had. And there was a little hiccup in trying to like counter the cardiac kick directly into the Rochambeau, which was unfortunate, but he recovered really well, hit the Rochambeau, got the victory, hit the pose. Everybody's chanting Ricky. Ricky! Ricky! I also believe they chanted Tony fumbled at the end.
They did.
Which is inarguable in this particular case. However, taking that all aside, super happy for Ricky Starks. He looked so happy to be doing this thing that he loves in front of people again. So good.
Yeah, wasn't it just like, oh, I'm so glad he's back on my screen. Like, just instantly was so glad he was back on my screen. I'm not mad about it being a tag match because this did what it was supposed to do in being a tag match. Like, if it was nonsensically a tag match, I'd be more annoyed.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to Ricky Starks and Wesley, and I'm looking forward to Javon and Ethan Page continuing. Javon's great, man. Like, he still surprises me every time he's in the ring. He's just excellent. But this was all about Ricky getting to show out in his first match, and he is just a complete wrestler in every sense of the word, and exudes megastar quality. Really, really, really does. Nice to see. I liked the spot where Ethan went for that ego's edge and Evans escaped it. I thought that was nicely done with the kick to the head after. But nice to see. I like Ricky Starks' spear. I know it's not Braun Breaker's, and I know it's not our dear Zelda's.
It's better than Moose's. The flipping spear is always terrible because it looks like you mistimed a cannonball.
Yes, it does.
It looks like a mistimed cannibal. It looks like not cannibal. A mistimed cannibal is just a guy who's late to dinner. But a mistimed cannonball is like where you would run and throw your back into them. It looks like you did it too late and then you hit your shoulder into them first. So it's better than Moose's. So I'll give that to Ricky. Also, I know that you want Def Rebel to be dead Rebel now. Listen, this is not one of their most egregious misfires. It is not good by any stretch of the imagination. It is a C+ grading on the Def Rebel curve for sure. Maybe even a B- on the Def Rebel curve. But it could have been a lot worse. It wasn't butt rock.
It wasn't butt rock.
It wasn't butt rock.
It was a diet version of what Mikey Ruckus did. So it's not like artistry points.
No,
Also-
no artistry points for sure.
Also, the lighting effect that they had for his entrance was really cool, but it was really tiny. It's kind of like they did for Okada at Grand Slam Australia, but the cone was so small, it was like he could barely fit in it. So the second he moved to do his pose, his hands was kind of in the light. But they know what they have in him right away, it feels like, and that makes me really excited because he's a megastar. It was so nice to see him in action again. I don't think he's long for NXT. I think he'll be on the main roster probably sooner than later.
Yeah, I still say that he'll be the NXT champion at some point before he comes up, and I don't think that's happening anytime soon. So we will see. I want to be wrong. I think he should be on the main roster, but I think then again on the main roster, what's like the only thing he's got going for him is he's Cody's friend.
Yeah, but man, like ever since that suggestion of him being Mr. Money in the Bank was suggested as a debut, I'm like, I can't.
I think you're looking at. I think you're looking at 2026 for that one. Then you're looking at Mr. Money in the Bank 2026.
I'd rather it be done right. I also forgot to mention this earlier. Ren Sinclair doing the Hardy dance got me so good. Yeah. And then turning to Charlie Dempsey being like, I'm sorry. Yeah. Got me really good.
Mm-hmm. All right. I think that's it. There's nothing else to say.
That is. Right? Ricky closed the show with his pose.
Yeah, he did the pose.
Absolutely rules.
Yeah, the pose. And they didn't cut to the faction doing something else. I thought they were going to, but they didn't.
Yeah, it was weird. I was expecting them to try and take out somebody.
Yeah, somebody. But no. No one is safe. And again, by no one, we mean no quarter.
Specifically, just these guys, kind of.
Yeah. Okay. We have some jukeboxes because we're all at it. We're no more. Do not send any more. We're just.
They will be missed by yours truly.
Okay. Okay. I'll do them. Here we go. First one was requested by Jambeard. He wants to Braun Strowman to sing "Work It" by Missy Elliott.
Is it worth it? Let me work it. I'll put my thing down, flip it, and reverse it. But with a very significant down yet. Figure, found yet. If you got a big, let me search you to find out how hard I gotta work you. Just freaking found yet. Just freaking found yet. Come on. See my hips and my lips, don't you? See my ass and my lips, don't you? Lost a few pounds in my waist for you. This is the kind of beat that go ra la la ra ta 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 ta. Sex me so good I say blah blah blah. Work I'll need a glass of water, boy oh boy, it's good to know you. Is it worth it? Let me work it. Put my thing down, flip it and reverse it. Like your chest and frickin' fry yeah. Get these frickin' fry yeah.
Nailed it.
Good. Okay. Braun to sing "Can't Fight the Moonlight" by Leanne Rimes, which is a very different kind of song.
It is.
Under a lover's sky, gonna be with you, and no one's gonna be around. If you think that you won't fall, well, just wait until the sun goes down. Underneath the starlight, there's a magical feeling so right, it will steal your heart tonight. You can try to resist, to hide from my kiss, but you know that you can't fight the moonlight. Deep in the dark, you surrender your heart, but you know that you can't fight the moonlight. No, you can't fight it. It's gonna get to your heart. Get to your heart.
That's a very bouncy rendition of it, Braun.
I don't know anything about it. Okay. All right. I have you have one, if I'm not mistaken.
I do?
Don't you? Do you not? Thought you had. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, okay. That's all you tonight, buddy. Which is good because I'm doing the Louise job of pulling them up. So
okay. I thought you had one.
I thought I saw one from the Nia girl, but I don't see it now.
Me too. I thought I saw it too. It's because it's gone. It's not here. Somebody sent him from the Nia girls. I thought we saw one. I think that's okay. All right. Jambeard says since Alex hasn't done either. Wait, hold on. Where did it go? Okay? Well, they're gone now.
I sent you a document with all the lyrics.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I pulled up all the lyrics. I don't have access to this.
Oh, what a legend.
So I don't have access to this thing that you sent me. So I'm requesting access.
I shall grant it.
Okay. Well, thank you. I'm gonna see if I can get it. Nope. I have no access to that. Somebody asked for "Wait and Bleed" by Slipknot as sung in a duet style by Fraxium, by the Blurry Boys.
I felt the hate rise up in me. Kneel down and clear the stone of leaves. I wander out when you can't see. Inside my shell, I wait and bleed. I felt the hate rise up in me. Kneel down and clear the stone of leaves. I wander out when you can't see. Inside my shell, I wait and bleed. Goodbye. I'll wipe it off the tile. The night is brighter this time. Everything is 3D blast for me. My eyes are red and gold. The hair is standing straight up. This is not the way I pictured me. I can't control my cheeks. How the hell did I get here? Something about this so very wrong. I have to laugh out loud. Wish I didn't take this. Is it a dream or a memory? I felt the hate rise up in me. Kneel down and clear the hone of leaves. I wonder out when I can't see inside my shell I wait and bleed.
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
I
I recovered mine. Whatever you want to throw it to me.
Okay, dude, you do your thing.
I stay out too late. I've got nothing in my brain. That's what people say. That's what people say. I go on too many dates, but I can't make them stay. That's what people say. That's what people say. But I keep cruising. I can't stop, won't stop moving. It's like I got this music in my mind saying it's going to be all right. Because the players are going to play. And the haters are going to literally hate. Baby, I'm just going to shake. Shake it off. Shake it off. Yeah.
Oh, very
that was
good.
a special one for Jeremy Lambert, honestly.
That's good. So Regal is going to sing Rocket Man by not sing so much as do a William Shatner
Perform.
She packed my bags last night, pre-flight, 0 hour 9 a.m. And I'm going to be as high as a kite by then. I miss the Earth so much. I miss my wife. It's lonely out in space on such a timeless flight. And I think it's going to be a long, long time until touchdown brings me round again to find I'm not the man they think I am at home. Oh, no, sunshine. I'm a rocket man. Rocket man burning out his fuse up here alone. And I think it's going to be a long, long time till touchdown brings me round again to find I'm not the man they think I am at home. Oh, no. You're a rocket man in the mask. And I miss you.
Okay. This is a bittersweet one. Paul Popolowski to bid farewell to Luis.
He's not dead, guys. He'll be back for big shows, I promise.
Let me tell you a story about Luis. He's a fantastic boy. He's just a cherub, just a sweet cherub. This boy, Luis, 14 years old and working for a major wrestling website. Such a young boy. He was the head of research for the Sour Grap show. He was. That fella Alex, he'd be so lazy and say, "Hey, I could Google this, but I want you to do it instead." And Luis never complained. He did it all the time. He found the lyrics to these random jukeboxes that people would request songs that nobody ever heard of, and he'd find the lyrics for them, and he'd put them in a document, and the guy would read them, and do funny voices while he'd sing songs, and it's crazy. Can you imagine someone doing funny voices by request.
I can't
Certainly
imagine
not me. Not back in my day. We wouldn't never do such a thing. But anyway, Luis was in charge of that. He also put a bunch of puns in there, and you have to read puns and stupid things, and little dad jokes about wrestlers, and also the topic of the day. And then he put in little funny names for the segments. He'd pop himself, and it'd be fun. But we'll miss him. He's moving on to high school. He graduated with honors from 8th grade, and he's moving on to high school, the big time. He's got no more time for us here at the Sour Grap Show. We'll miss you, Luis. Gone too soon.
I just realized my sweater matches our frame.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, it is good. I like that. Okay, so hold on. Hello, someone asked for the Care Bears countdown. So I will sing that. Care Bears countdown, 4, 3, 2, 1. Who's that coming from? Somewhere up in the sky, moving fast and bright as a firefly. Just when you think that trouble's gonna bounce, who's gonna be there when it really counts? Do the Care Bears countdown and send a wish out through the air. Do the Care Bears countdown. When you need them, they'll be there. Don't be afraid when the clouds are brewing in your heart. If you could dream, just send a wish out in the dark. I do the Care Bears countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hooray!
Nailed
Then
it.
someone else said that I should do the Reading Rainbow theme song. But wherever the reading is used, that I should put my name.
You
So
should.
here goes. Butterfly in the sky. I can go twice as high. Take a look. I'm in a book. I'm Ricky Rainbow. It's true. I'm in several books. Lots of books were written about me in my career. I could go anywhere. Friends to know, ways to grow. A Ricky Rainbow. I could be anything. Take a look. I'm in a book. A Ricky Rainbow. Ricky Rainbow. Ricky Rainbow. Ricky Rainbow. Ricky Rainbow.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. So we'll do another one. Hold on. So we're going
You're a popular guy tonight, Ricky.
No, I'll do another one later, but first we're gonna have somebody else do one. It's me. I'm gonna do one here. It's me. So somebody has requested. I don't know who this is, but somebody, I believe, somebody has said that I should do the opening monologue to an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation, because we are doing space-themed things. Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its continuing mission, baby, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, if you will, to boldly go where no one has gone before. Thank you.
That was beautiful. It started so intensely with the space.
Space.
Nailed it.
All right, well, I gotta go back to belong.
Oh, okay. Thanks for stopping by.
One more for me, Space Oddity by David Bowie, my old friend Dave.
Oh, you guys go way back?
Way back. I'll do. I remember when he was little Davy Bobo. That's what you called him. Davy Bobo. Davy Bobo.
Little Davy Bobo.
He hated it, but we called him that all the time. Merciless we were. Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. Ground control to Major Tom. Commencing countdown, engines on. Chicken ignition, and may God's love be with you. Check. This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade, and the papers want to know whose shirts you wear. Now it's time to leave the capsule if you dare.
This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door and I'm floating in a most peculiar way. And the stars look very different today. For here, am I sitting in a tin can? Far above the world, planet Earth is blue and there's nothing I can do. Though I'm past 100,000 miles, I'm feeling very still. And I think my spaceship knows which way to go. Tell my life I love her very much. She knows.
That was beautiful. Little Davy Bobo was
Ground
so proud.
control to Major Tom. Your circuit's dead. There's something wrong. Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you? Here I am, floating round in my tin can, far above the moon. There's lots of bricks all over it. Planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can do. Seriously, someone needs to come and clean up all these bricks all over the moon.
Well, we know who's been throwing them.
There's too many bricks over here. Right, that's it. We're done.
Okay.
No more.
Thanks, everybody.
Bon voyage. See you in the skies. Into the cosmos. Keep cool, gabagoos.